Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good day, good evening to wherever you are in this world today. As always, my name is Sylvia Litana Robinson, President of Africa, excuse me, Africa Online Media Corporation. I hope all of you are being safe, and I hope all of you are taking care of yourself and taking the precautionary measures to ensure that even the loved ones around you are being safe around this COVID-19 pandemic that we find ourselves in. But today we are here to discuss or talk about before we say, or before I say I do, or before you say I do. If I use we, it's like 10 of us are getting married, right? So before I say I do, or before you say I do. But before I get into that, I would like to share one little piece of information, which of course we are requesting for your help. We are starting a dollar a day campaign here at Africa Online Media Corporation. The reason we're doing that is because we need this financial assistance or financial help to help us keep our program running and the programs that we support to ensure that other people out there are benefiting, such as, we did the borehole 55 for most of our African nations. Unfortunately, we did not manage to get enough to build it in all the countries, but one day at a time, we will accomplish our goal. So therefore, I'm requesting or imploring each and every one of you that is our viewers, or even if you're new to the show, or even if you're just passing by, please visit our website at www.africaonlinetv.org, www.africaonlinetv as in Tom, V as in Victor.org, like television.org. So please, if you can, donate $1 a day or $1 a week, whichever you can afford, $10, $15, anything that you give us, we'll highly appreciate. So with that spiel now, let me go back to our topic of the day, my favorite. Before I say I do, this is Black History Month. We are celebrating Black marriages. What do you say? Yes, sir?
Good afternoon, good evening, good day, wherever you are, bonjour. Bonne fête de Saint-Valentin, j'espère que vous vous portez bien. En tout cas, Africa Online Media Corporation vous prie de vous joindre à nous et faites une petite contribution pour qu'on puisse garder notre affaire en cours pour que ça continue à être le vôtre. Donc, donnez une contribution si vous voulez, $1 ou quelque chose comme ça, donnez à www.africaonlinetv.org. Merci beaucoup et à tout à l'heure. Mais je commence avec le commentaire du jour, la réflexion de ce jour, le 14 février 2021. Okay, that said, it is Sunday, February 14. It is in several cultures called Valentine's Day. It's been 45 days since 2021 became something to write home about, that is, a new year. 45 days have gone by already, meaning that we still have 320 days for 2021 to be history. Our topic, as you heard our president and co-chair say, is before you say, I do. Before you say, I do, for better or for worse. But we will get there in a moment. Today's reflection starts off with words from the Indian subcontinent as we quote a son of that part of the globe, Mahatma Gandhi, someone who left an indelible mark on who we are as human beings today and as we became human beings as he breathed that life unto us, not Mahatma Gandhi, but the great person upstairs. Gandhi left us these words: there is a higher court than courts of justice, and that is the court of conscience. It supersedes all other courts. And American stockbroker Michael quickly added, there is a higher law than the law of government, that's the law of conscience. Our topic this Sunday unfolds as we stand at crossroads, recalling with a desire to better understand and probably effect some change, Black History Month, a national call to conscience, not just in these United States, but above all, across the entire globe. The topic comes as we are invited to look inwards, search our souls, and seek to live the full meaning of why we were created in the first place, why we are on this planet Earth, and why we build bridges through love and desire to better understand one another. Conscience, we are told, is an integral part of the human psyche, an integral part of our mind, an invitation to show self-awareness and learn to accept right or wrong, as the case may be. Hold on there for a moment. History tells us that on February 14, back in 1912, Arizona became the 48th and the last contiguous United States state as the country pursued that sacred mission of expanding from shining sea to shining sea. On this day in 1989, remember him, Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini of Iran, issued a fatwa and ordered, or rather offered a bounty for the head of author Salman Rushdie, whose novel, The Satanic Verses, had been published in 1988, and which was, the Ayatollah said, was blasphemous. Well, that is history. Today is Valentine's Day, we already said, the feast day of Saint Valentine, a priest and physician who was martyred about 270 in the current era in Rome. The day has since shrouded itself in gifting, an occasion for both lovebirds and non-lovers alike to exchange greetings of love, pledge their love for potential lifetime partners, and commit to share their lives with one another for better or for worse. A while ago, remember, we asked you to stand by and follow our reflection. In 1967, Aretha Franklin invited us to stand by and show her some respect. That invitation was as good then as it is pertinent today. So, as we remember Black History Month and exchange flowers and or pledge to commit or recommit to each other, we must remember a higher call, a call to conscience. That noun reminds us that conscience is, quote, an inner feeling or voice viewed as acting as a guide to the righteous, to what is right or wrong, and it is in our behavior. Wikipedia, that free encyclopedia that we look to almost every day, tells us that conscience is a cognitive process that elicits emotion and rational associations based on an individual's moral philosophy or value system. That conscience, Wikipedia adds, stands in contrast to elicited emotion or thought due to associations based on immediate sensory perceptions and reflexive responses. In other words, Wikipedia continues, conscience often leads to feelings of remorse when a person commits an act that conflicts with their moral values. We know that more often than not everyone shows that feeling of remorse when they go wrong. Thinkers and other opinion leaders have, throughout history, driven home points about conscience. And here, Sigmund Freud comes to mind when he says, the consequence of not obeying our conscience is guilt. We consider such guilt a millstone the guilty person carries around, extra baggage, of course, so to say. No one should be ready and prepared to carry that around because it is so burdensome. Guilt is burdensome. As we seek to better understand how to say and mean what we are talking about when we say I do, our invitation is to look inwards, consider our ways, have a deeper understanding of the meaning of those words, and utter them with a conviction that our conscience would not come to haunt us in years that follow. That word conscience again, yes, as Alexander Solzhenitsyn of Gulag Archipelago fame puts it, quote, justice is conscience, not a personal conscience, but the conscience of the whole humanity. Those who clearly recognize the voice of their own conscience usually recognize also the voice of justice, end of quote. Our mission is therefore to seek justice with a clear conscience, a conscience that neither condemns us nor haunts us as in the rest of our lives. As this reflection closes, why don't we conclude with these reminding words, or this reminder, quote, violence and extremism should not have a place in our public discourse, and we all must have the duty and the responsibility to defend the truth and to defeat lies. On that note, we're going to drop our helicopter into the heliport in Houston, Texas, and we'll drive to the home of our president, Reverend Pam.
Our chair.
The ball is yours. Our chair. Yes, our chairman of Africa Online Media Corporation and chair and host, of course. She is, of course, impeccable. And I see she has her Valentine's Day colors on. All right, good day, and let us get the ball rolling.
Yes, I think you ate a lot of chocolates today. You must be under the influence of chocolate. Anyway, happy Valentine's Day to you, my beautiful.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, and our brother John was on, and of course to all our viewers. Yeah, it is actually raining cats and dogs in Houston. It's been that way for the past 1 week. But I'm grateful to God. Today is Valentine's Day, and it means different things to different people. But it's also Black History Month, so we want to honor all our brothers and sisters, Africans, African Americans, and all people of African descent. You know, there are actually Africans who are not Black in complexion, so that's why we always say Africans and people of African descent. You know, prior to us going live, I was just joking with our president that last week she was asking people, to inbox her. She declared herself a matchmaker, and I made it clear on the air that we, as an organization, we're not in the matchmaking business. Today's Valentine's Day. Please, we can't help you find a Valentine. If you don't have a Valentine, make yourself a Valentine. Send yourself chocolates, send yourself flowers. You know, the flower company and the chocolate company will not tell anybody that you send them to yourself. But please don't inbox us and ask us for a sugar mommy or a sugar daddy. Please don't do that. But anyway, on serious note, this pandemic has revealed a lot of things. A lot of relationships have been messed up. And some relationships have been delayed. But we are talking about, before you say I do, last week we were talking about dating. We know some people, they get to the I do without dating, but most people get there with some kind of dating. But we want to encourage people, even with the dating, there has to be courtship, get to know one another. Unfortunately, during that dating period or before they get to the point where they say I do, a lot of the times people will show you what they want you to see. They will introduce who they think you want to be married to, and then the real person will show up years later, maybe when you guys have had a lot of kids. But we want to encourage everybody, don't be in a rush. Just think about it. You are probably at least 20 years old for most people. Or for some people, they are in their 40s, 50s, 60s when they say I do. But just think about it. For at least 2 decades, you've been without this person, and then you meet a stranger, and now you are thinking about spending the rest of your life with that person. That is a major decision, to be honest with you. That is a very big decision. And there are really no manuals. Don't let anybody tell you that there's a manual for that. There isn't. It's not one size fits all. Something may work for a different person and it may not work for another person. And now that the world is a global village, with a click of a mouse, you can meet somebody that is tens of thousands away from you. Or even if you are in the same city, different backgrounds, different culture, even the countries that we live in, they are all becoming very diverse, not just in the US. So I would advise people, don't be in a rush. Don't be. Please, it is very important. Think about your life. Ask yourself that before you say I do, ask yourself that, is this the person that you strongly believe that you can sleep at night? with both of your eyes closed, without being worried about what they will do while you are asleep. I'm not just talking about sneaking out of bed to go make a phone call in the bathroom. I'm talking about, you know, are you sure? Do you feel safe that you can actually share a bedroom, a house with this person? Remember, you guys are not related. Remember, you guys are not connected by blood. You may be connected by sex or physical attraction. Are your spirits in sync? Are they connected? These are questions you have to ask yourself. I'm not trying to frighten anybody. I'm not trying to scare anybody. We're just trying to encourage you. And when you before you say I do, make sure you do. Make sure you're not talking about I do to the bank account or to the physical appearance or to the titles that the person has. Make sure you are saying I do to everything that has to do with that person, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Everything. Make sure you know whether the person, their shortcomings. Unfortunately, there's some shortcomings that you will not find out until after you get married. But I'm just encouraging you, be sure before you say I do. Niason.
Thank you so much. I think we'll go straight to our co-host, Sylvia. Did Reverend Pam just say that you're a matchmaker? I didn't know that. Anyway, just go ahead and tell us how to do this matchmaking. How do you go about doing matchmaking, and what do you tell them to do or not do?
I've done this for years. I did it under the radar because, you know, this country is very litigious. So it was usually done by, if somebody was match made, then they'll tell another person, well, I met him or her through Auntie Sylvia and stuff like that. So technically, this is by default, actually, or maybe by God's doing. We had a young man that wrote in to say he's 27 years old. And he wanted to know if among us, among our group, there's somebody looking for a sugar boy, because he's looking for a sugar mommy. So I wrote to him and I said, unfortunately, among us, we don't need a sugar boy because he is too young. He's young enough to be one of our sons. But that's not to say you cannot be paired up. If you're looking for somebody your age, between 27, 30, 35 years, we may be able to do something for you. So that being said, yes, I do teach actually some classes, especially for the women, for the ladies, for the young ones who are about to say, I do. Now, let it be known that before I accept to teach or to discuss what I know about what you need to get yourself ready for, I always request that I speak to the groom. Because many a times, believe it or not, some ladies have lied to me that the man has proposed to them, when all the man did was just talk about supposing we were married. So they run with that and say, he's proposed, they come to me, we start making arrangements, and then a day or week before the ceremony that we do for the ladies comes by, I ask to see the groom and the groom tells me, I did no such thing. So we are very careful, we're very meticulous with the way we caution or we educate our young ladies. Reverend Pam talked about some people get together without dating. Yes, it's true, they do. Believe it or not, I know quite a lot of people that never met each other, but guess what? They've been together for 30, 35, even 40 years. Yet again, on the other flip side of the coin, I have known people who have dated for 30, 40 years, even have kids together, but they're not married. And then in the 40th or 41st year, they decide to get married. Guess what? In the 42nd or 43rd year, they divorce. Mm-hmm. That just, it's never made sense to me. I'm still trying to study that science. And unfortunately, I still haven't come up with an answer or with a solution or with a reasonable explanation as to why that happens. We're talking about COVID and the dating times in COVID before I say I do. Unfortunately, or fortunately, last week when we were talking about the same topic, we were also making fun of us coming with our masks. You see, when I come like that, you don't see me, right? All you see is my eyes. Not that it matters, but what we're saying is, what are you marrying or who are you marrying? Mm-hmm. Everybody is beautiful in their own way. Everybody is handsome in their own. I'm not talking about the physical beauty to say, you know, I'm more beautiful or she's more beautiful. No, I'm talking about the beauty of a person inside. Those people that I know that have been married without even courting, trust me, are the happiest people I know. And those of us that courted for a year, 2 years, whatever, and end up getting married, all we do is fight, cuss each other out, throw this thing out there. You call me this name, I call you that name. I don't understand this formula. And I'm not saying it's everybody that is like that, but the few that are in my life and the few that I counsel even today. So now we're talking about us as Blacks. This is Black History Month. What do you need to know, or what do you need to do before you say I do? Yes, sir?
Yes. What do you do? What have you to say before you say I do? But I just cut up something there when you narrated the story of people getting married after dating for 40, 41 years, and then getting married at 41 years and 42 years they are divorced. So I was just trying to calculate that word. Well, look at that word closely, marriage. Is there poison in marriage? I don't see it. I see ma, I see age, I see rage, but does the rage overtake both the ma and the age, and then cause people to change their minds? You stay with somebody for so long and you get married and you divorce. Why? That word divorce is not in my personal vocabulary, so I don't like using it. But I feel bad when I see marriage goes bonkers because some party uttered a word that for years they've heard but did not pay attention to, or for a bank account that we've always run together, but now you want to be the owner, the sole owner of that account, something like that. Why should people go into things with double minds? So I believe that marriage, whatever it is, we'll talk about that in some other program, should be something that solidifies and consolidates relationships rather than separating people. But we're talking about before you say I do. How prepared have you been all your life? If you're 27 and you're looking for a sugar mommy, please forget about it. Or you're looking for a sugar daddy, please forget about it. Not many people will go for that. So the best thing to do is, as you grow older, start planting a garden, start looking around, start making sure that the kind of plants you want in your garden are the ones you want to live with. Because if you don't do that, you end up going from tree A to tree B to tree C and never settling down. So please, whatever you do, before you say I do, be really prepared. Be mature enough to know yourself and know the other person or persons that you have tried. But I would not advise that you go to persons, go to a person. Hang on with that person and see if the body, the psychology between you and that person works. See if the ideas you exchange during your talks match what you intend to have in your lifetime. Because it's not good to say one thing today and mean another thing tomorrow. So, Reverend Pam, I believe I'm not so much gifted in these matters because I've been married for so long that I don't even remember what saying I do means, because I say I do every day. So, so I don't know if Reverend Pam wants to go or she wants.
No, I'll weigh in, but I want Brother John to weigh in, then I'll go after him.
Okay. Yes.
Brother John, can you unmute yourself and weigh in, then I'll go after you. I have some stuff to say.
Yes.
Brother John, can you unmute yourself, please?
Yeah,
I'm just listening.
Okay.
By the way, before you go, have you said I do to someone before or now or
putting him on the spot?
I'm putting him on the spot, yes. Brother John, take your time, think about it.
Okay.
Yes. So Sylvia, over to Reverend Pam.
I need to weigh in a couple of things. Sister Sylvia, let me just attempt to respond to why the people that were together for maybe 3 decades are doing just fine with kids, and then when they got married, they got divorced. Sometimes it has to do with that piece of paper, the legal document. You know, that is a rampant thing here in the US with the Hollywood, arena, where people, they stay together for a long time. Then when they get married, there are actually people that just decide to live as concubines. They don't want to have that piece of paper because they're afraid that somebody's going to file for a divorce and they want to split, ask for half or ask for alimony or child support. But this is the thing. I am going to just give my own advice, okay? A lot of people look at different things before they say I do. They look at physical appearances, And when they start dating or courtship, they look at character, which sometimes may be difficult, but they also, some of them, they look at the different kinds of love. I just want to mention those briefly without going into details. If I have to go to details, I'll start preaching, which I'm not going to do on the show. But they look at, phileo, which is friendship love. Some of them, they look at eros, which is erotic love or sexual love. But a lot of people, the other love is stereos, that's family, like what family members have for each other. But a lot of people don't really look at agape love, the unconditional love, the God's kind of love. But I want to advise everybody, that's what is going to sustain you in that marriage, like me Asong has been for 100 years. Because let me tell you, if you are dating somebody now and you're trying to say you are heading toward saying I do, take lots of pictures and video. I can guarantee you things are going to change physically. You can take that to the bank. Time is going to come when you look at that person, you will not recognize them because they will not look like the person that said I do to you. They will not. So take lots of pictures. And if you are one of those lucky ones that walk down the aisle, you have a wedding picture, put it where you can, put one on your kitchen refrigerator, put one above your bed, put it in the bathroom, so that you look at that person every day and remember what it was like that day to encourage yourself. Let me tell you, I'm not speaking from experience. So this is of my own advice that I'm giving you. It's up to you to take it or leave it. What is going to sustain that marriage is unconditional love. That is where one person has decided that they are going to make this marriage work, no matter in spite of the other person. It is not 50-50. 50-50 doesn't work because the day the other 50% goes down to 49, they are heading for divorce. Or the day the other person is feeling like they're carrying 60% and the other person is carrying 40%, pressures are going to start, and the things are going to go downhill. So it should be 100-0. Make up your mind that you will underwrite the love in the relationship. If both of you are lucky enough to make that decision, you will enjoy heaven on earth. But it's a decision. Some people talk about midlife crisis. I don't believe in all that nonsense. I don't. It's a decision. You make up your mind that it doesn't matter whether this person changes their outward appearance, especially after giving birth to kids, or if they lose their job or not, you are going to stick with it. Unconditional love means unconditional. It doesn't matter what the condition is or the situation. It does not matter. You love that person. Come rain, come shine. When you say for better or for worse, you don't mean for better or for best. You really mean it. If that person gets sick and they end up with a G-tube or a colostomy bag, that is not a fun thing to do. You are willing to change out their bag and smell the waste and still love that person. So before you say I do, make sure it's somebody that no matter what they do, you are going to be in for the long haul. This is not a ticket for the other partner to start fooling around or doing that. I'm not talking about adultery, please. If they cheat on you, you are welcome to kick them out of the door. God doesn't like divorce. The only time he allows it is in case of adultery, so he does not endorse it. I'm not talking about that. If somebody cheats on you, feel free to show them the door. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about all the other reasons. There are people who have left their spouses after decades because they don't look the same way. Have you ever thought about the fact that maybe you are the reason why they don't look the way they used to look? Maybe you are the reason. Maybe you are the one that caused them the stress and they started eating everything under the sun. But anyway, I'm going to hand over to you, Madam President. I feel myself trying to exit somewhere I don't want to go now.
I see the passion coming out. I see those horns now of that.
That's why I'm stopping right here. That's why I'm stopping right here. I know when to apply the brakes.
Yes, thank you so much, Madam Chair.
Yeah.
Let me just piggyback a little bit on what our chairperson just said. Indeed, we were talking, I think, a few weeks ago about how the pandemic has brought people closer together than they've ever been in life. Meaning 24/7, we're in each other's face. When you're husband and wife, you're seeing each other whether you like it or not. Living in a 1-bedroom apartment, maybe 2-bedroom apartment, you know the proximity is very short. If one person is on the other side, you're on the other side, you can still hear him breathe, you can still smell him and all that stuff. A lot of you, or a lot of people now, have come to realize who the spouse is. Most of the times it was in and out, husband coming in, wife going out, wife coming in, husband going out. Therefore, that camaraderie was always just convenient when I'm home, he's home, kids are home, then 3-4 hours we're sleeping. Next thing is we're going to work. We were spending almost 80% of our time in the offices, or 80% of the time commuting to and from going to work. Now that you are living together, it reminds me of a woman who did a video. I'm not going to mention the country, but she did this video, which it was a serious video, but for me, it was very hilarious, where she's thanking God and praising God for this COVID, because now COVID is keeping her husband home. COVID is making her husband help her with house chores, such as doing laundry, ironing clothes, washing the children, bathing the children, cooking, cleaning, and all that stuff. And she prayed so hard that COVID should never end, because finally she has gotten to know who her husband is. Because before, all he did is, I'm meeting, I have to go to meeting here, I have to fly to Timbuktu, I have to fly to this and that. And there was never a time for them, to be together in such a way. So before you say I do, should you or should you not know your partner? Reverend Pam has rightfully said, take pictures. I agree. Take pictures. I'm adding that to my book, or my little black and white book now. I'm adding that on. Take pictures so that as days go by, you will realize that this changes in me, and I also realize this changes in you. It's not always about you. Always remember that when you are in a relationship, just before I say I do, or when I say I do, this thing is reciprocal. It's a two-way. It is not always about sex. And some people of today, I was going to say the young people, but even old people like me, we still make that same mistake. When the sex is sweet, when the sex is good, then we believe we're in love. Oh, I got to marry him. Oh, because he makes this. I got to marry him because he did this and that. No. You know what? That ends after a while. It's like eating food. You eat shrimp every day. The next day you want to eat steak, right? But you don't necessarily have to change to steak. You can just change the way you prepare that shrimp, and it will still taste better than the one you prepared in the morning. So make sure, like we're saying, whether it's an arranged marriage, whether it's you who's fallen in love, whether God just dropped him or her in your face, in your laps, hey, embrace them, but take the time to ask questions. Take the time to want to know him or her. It's not always going to be the right, chemistry. They say opposites attract. You may look at the sky and say it's blue. I'll tell you, no, it's gray. You look outside and say the snow is white. I'll tell you, no, the snow is cream.
Perception.
We're looking at the same thing. It's our perception.
Perception.
Absolutely. How am I looking at you and how are you looking at me? Judgment of one another is wrong. Wrong, wrong, and wrong. When you are a couple or when you're together, it's always very good to learn how to forgive a person. And always don't be judgmental, because you are not perfect, neither am I. We need to sit at a table across from each other and have lunch, breakfast, or dinner and be able to talk to one another. I should not always be the one to be right. It's my way or the highway, or he shouldn't always be the one to be right. It's his way or the highway. Because if you're doing that before you say I do, guess what's going to happen when you do say I do? That becomes worse. Because now each of you is trying to top the other one from what he said yesterday. Now let me say better. Then the next morning he says, no, she said this, so let me get it. That's not going to be a relationship. You're going to end up in divorce or separation. And that's not what we're here for. We are here to encourage. We are here to encourage the I do part, not the I don't part, but the I do part.
Mm-hmm.
Because with the I do part came you. With the I do part came me. If that I do part wasn't there, how would there have been this procreation among men and women? Yes, people do have children outside of wedlock, and I'm not saying there's anything, there's anything wrong with those who have done that. I'm just saying, in a world being equal or perfect, that would have been the best thing, but of course things happen. So before you say I do, ask yourself a couple of questions. One, is this the right time for me to actually say I do? Two, is this the man or woman that I truly want to live with? Three, have I evaluated and assessed this person's character? Is this something I can live with? If I'm that argumentative, is it something you want to live with me with all those arguments? If it's the ego, he's always thinking about me, 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 me. Is that something that you want to tolerate or live with because it's all about me, all about me, all about me? There are certain flags that each of us have to look for before we say I do. And it's up to each and every one of us. My mother taught me one lesson. My sister and I laughed about it when she told us this formula. She said, you have all these suitors coming. You have all these suitors coming home, and it seems like you don't like any of them or you're not ready to settle with any of them. But let me help you out. Because if you pass a certain age, all these men, like Reverend Pam says, that beauty goes away, correct? So she says, take a pen and paper. Write all the things that you want to find in a husband. And then that's on the left page. On the right page, you write everything that you do not want to see in a husband. Then every day that they come, you do the process of elimination. Write a name. Let's say Alex comes to me. Write a name. Then check off everything that you liked about Alex. And then check off everything that you did not like about Alex. Then compare the two. Then you put him, Alex, as number one. Tomorrow, David will come. You do the same thing. By the end of 7 days, you'll have 7 suitors, right? Go down the list and see. Tally the points. That will help you make a decision. Do you know that I laughed in my mother's face? My sister and I we bust out laughing and say, Mom is old fashioned. How can you find a husband, by telling? Well, guess what? We followed her instructions, and I had an almost quote unquote perfect husband. And God took him young, but whatever 17 years I spent with him was a glorious, beautiful 17 years. Awesome. So I encourage others, if you're having that same challenge, I don't know with COVID, if you will, because you don't see that person anyway. We don't see each other. So the virtual thing is what's going to work for us. So if you don't have Zoom, invest in some Zoom. If there's no Zoom, get WhatsApp, there's Skype. Which other one do we have? The one for Apple?
FaceTime.
We're not promoting them. They are not sponsored.
No, we're not promoting them. I'm just saying to see a person, if you want to see them without the...
Just get a video,
yes,
use a video platform.
Yes, video platform. Thank you. That's the right word. Yeah. So that you can see the person the way you're seeing me. Yes, sir?
Yes, I was going to, in my usual way, go to nature. Mother Nature is the greatest instructor in my life. I mean, we all at least grew up, those of us from the continent, planting gardens or going to the farm with our parents. So why don't we take time to watch Mother Nature as things go from day 1 to day 100 or whatever? Okay, plant let's say a tree and watch that tree grow. Mm-hmm. What changes do you see? The tree will not remain the same when it is 17 years old as it will be when it is 34 years old. So please, the human person is the same. We progress from childhood through teenage years, through adulthood, to whatever we become. And of course, like the trees we see, those of us in North America and Europe, we see trees that are all green in spring. In fall, the leaves are all brown, black, and whatever. And what do? They fall off. They are no longer there. The beauty you were seeing in Mother Nature vanishes. So why don't we also understand that the wife or the husband we are getting married to today, or to whom we said I do the first day, is not going to be the same 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, 50 years down the road, if God permits. So please pay attention to the changes, the physical changes in your partner. I know that word has a different meaning in some parts of the world now. So pay attention to the changes, because those physical changes are telling you a story. You were born, you age, you get older and older and older until that day comes when the sun sets. That does not mean that you should because those changes are happening, you should throw away that person and say, no, I no longer need him or her. I mean, for example, the other thing to watch for, especially in the women, is the more babies they're having, the more they're degenerating. And of course, we know that one of the things that many men are looking for in a woman are those apples. The apples are bound to look southward. So they will not always be standing straight. They will look southward, and then you'll start grumbling, oh, but this is not what I went for. Yeah, Sylvia, understand. It will not always be the same thing you went for. A friend asked me the other day, is it the nursing of the baby that pulls down the apple, or is it just natural phenomena? I said, I think both, because the baby is suckling, pulling it down. Nature is also talking, pulling it down. So please accept what is going on because it is natural. Whether it is a baby or it is Mother Nature, please accept it and let your partner be, because what you saw on day one is not going to be the same thing you will see 20, 50, 60, 100 years on. So that is my take on that.
Yes, you know, when you were talking about apples, I had no clue what you were referring to.
He's talking about them was that way.
Until you went further, I had no clue. It's amazing the kind of things that men use to describe female body. And you're talking about maybe the baby. Sometimes the baby is the husband themselves. You know,
I know.
I want to mention a couple of things. You know, communication is very, very important.
Yes.
Very, very, very important.
Yes.
You know, before you say I do, make sure this person is not one of those type of persons that just keep things in their mind, just keep it, they just bury it, or they keep things and assume that you are God and you will know what is bothering them or what is in their head or in their minds. You know, there are some people that will not talk, and then they'll have the nerves to be bearing grudges with you because they expected you to know exactly what was going on with them and act a certain way. Communication is very, very important. I can assure you, you know, if you are dealing with a man who doesn't know how to talk or who doesn't communicate, unless you get on your knees and ask God to intervene, he will not change. It will happen in your marriage, and you'll be living in hell on earth. There are a lot of people that said I do, and then they are lonely.
That's true.
They wear uniforms and go out to please the public, to let people think they are happy. Especially on Valentine's Day, you will see them posting stuff all over Facebook and social media. But at home, they don't even talk to each other. So communication is very, very important. You know, somebody sent me something last week on WhatsApp that it said the pastor was told a check or something. And this pastor was invited. I don't know if it's a true story or not. I really don't. But the lesson is important, and it ties into this communication thing I'm talking about. This couple invited this pastor over for dinner with a blank check that they were actually going to bless him with. So when the pastor left, the check disappeared. They didn't get a chance to give him the check, and they didn't even ask him. The couples assumed that he stole the check. So they stopped going to his church, you know, grumbling and labeling him a thief, until 2 months later, and I'm paraphrasing this, please. So if you saw the same text, so don't say I'm misquoting. I'm just paraphrasing this thing. I don't even know who the author of this thing is, but I'm trying to make a point here. So the woman met the pastor somewhere, said, oh, pastor, I'm sure you've noticed that we don't come to church. Yeah, we're going to, anyway, it's just that we don't do the religious topics and political topics. That one, there's a lot of stuff to talk about church folks. But anyway, so the pastor said, yeah, I noticed, but I didn't know why. Again, I'm paraphrasing. So she said, oh, they were upset because he took a check that was there, that since that day, I mean, he was the only one that came to the house. So the pastor said, yes, I took the check because the coffee you guys gave me, I didn't want it to spill on the check. So I took the check and put it in your Bible.
Yes.
Because I wanted to protect the check. And that tells you that this so-called Christian has not opened her Bible in 2 months. So when she went back home, she opened the Bible, and lo and behold, the check was there.
Yes.
Think of, just look at the 2 months they went lamenting, hearing that their pastor stole a check when he did not. All they had to do was ask him. It's communication. Same thing. Their husbands and wives, their spouses that have borne grudges against their spouses, when their spouses are innocent, all you had to do was just say what is eating you up, my friend. Open your mouth and talk. The same mouth that you used to propose, or the same mouth that you used to say, yes, I do, use that mouth.
Yes.
And stop putting yourself through hell unnecessarily. And I'm going to go to a couple of things. You guys just bear with me here. I'll try not to change lanes. Before you say I do, remember that the person that you are saying I do to is somebody's son, is somebody's brother, maybe somebody's father. Remember that the person that you're asking to say I do, hopefully is a man proposing, but whoever is proposing, make sure that person is, make sure you know that that person is somebody's sister, somebody's daughter, maybe somebody's mother. Ask yourself how you're going to treat that person. Don't go and get involved or married to somebody only to turn around and maltreat them. Don't do it. You don't have a right to maltreat another human being. I'm not just talking about physical abuse. I'm talking about emotional abuse, mental abuse. There are so many other kinds of abuse. Don't say I do to somebody only to turn around and torture them. Don't. Next week, we're going to be talking about after you say I do, so I don't want to fast forward, but another thing you need to do, one preacher on TV, and I'm not going to say his name, but he said, before you say I do, find out if this person is still living with their parents. I'm talking about for the men. Find out if the person has their own place, they have a job, a job. How long did they stay on the job? Are they a rolling stone? Find out. Vet them. Do what we call in business due diligence. Do your due diligence on them, and be careful. During that vetting period, when you're asking people about them, make sure you verify the information yourself, because there are some people that out of jealousy, they will badmouth the person just because they don't want the person to get married. It happens, or maybe that person rejected them and then they are trying to keep you away from getting a good person. But find out how this person's relationship with soap and water. Do they take a shower every day? Or are they a cat? They don't like water. You're going to be in trouble if you get married to somebody who doesn't like to take a shower. Find out if the person cleans up behind themselves. Are you going to be a maid to this person?
Yes.
Find out how the person acts when they are angry. Do they throw things? Do they withdraw? Do they jump to another woman or another man? Find out those things, because I'm telling you, they're not going to change just because they said I do, or because you said I do. They're not going to change. Don't say I do to somebody hoping you will change them. Or don't say I do to somebody hoping they will not change. Make sure you are ready for the good and the bad. Make sure. It is very, very important. Sylvia.
Yes, you're right. If you think you're going to marry somebody and change them, that doesn't happen at all. I've heard these stories so many times. And let me just revert back a little bit to what our chairperson just said. Many a times there's jealousy among friends, yes, even among siblings, believe it or not, your own brother, your own sister. I don't know if mothers and fathers feel that, but I believe siblings do that. I haven't seen parents in that manner. There may be some, but please don't quote me as saying, I did. So what I want to say is this. I have experienced so many times where the men will come and tell me and say, oh, Auntie Sylvia, there's a girl I saw and, blah, 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 blah. I do the due diligence for them. Vice versa, when a woman finds a man, she'll come and tell me, not finds, sees the person that she likes or he likes. They'll come and ask me, I saw so-and-so, and what do you think? Now, because both characters to me are known, I'll either tell them yes or no. But it has come to my also attention that the jealousy that others have, they have come to lie to me. Oh no, he's a drunk. Oh no, he's a womanizer. Oh no, he's a thief. Oh no, he's a blah, blah, blah. And guess why they're saying that? Because they haven't been approached by no woman in many, many years. All they do is just sleep around from woman to woman, woman to woman. Now they're feeling jealous because their friend has found a woman or a wife to be, so to speak. The last person I told, I said to them, you know what? With you judging your friend, the Bible tells us to look at that speck in our eye before we look at the other person's, right? I said, right now you're talking to me. You're reeking of nothing but alcohol. So how does that make you different from your brother? Oh, no, me, I'm not looking. I said, that's why you're not looking. No women want you because you are the drunk. The other guy is not a drunk. He only goes out to drink because I've spoken to the guy. The guy told me the only reason I drink, mama, is because I don't have a steady woman in my life. And I don't drink to get drunk. I just drink to relax and then I go home. Women have thrown himself in my face. I have watched that. Women have thrown themselves in his face and I'm watching and I'm sitting. And I'm watching him, like swat them off. He'll buy them drinks, all right, and then you'll walk off. I used to also be in the world once upon a time. I used to go to clubs, to nightclubs and drink and dance and, just have a good time. So those of you who are out there judging others and making others believe that the person is otherwise, it's not right. Your turn too will come. And you need other people to vouch for you as to who you are before I say I do. Now, they say karma is I'm not going to say the word, but you know what the word is. It comes back around 360 at you. So whatever you do to your brother today, be rest assured, it will come back either to you or to your next generations to come. So when a friend is looking or a friend has found their rib, their supposed rib, until it is confirmed that it is, please stop that rumor mongering, stop bad mouthing your people, your friends, because that same friend that you're bad mouthing today will be your witness tomorrow. So stop judging each other and thinking that when they marry you or when you marry them, you are going to come and change them. If you know he's a drunk, there are other circumstances where, of course, we do drink, women and men. You know she's a drunk. You know she sleeps out. You know she sleeps around. Don't come and tell me, Auntie Sylvia, I want to change her because I can do this and that and the other. It doesn't work like that. The person, him or herself, has to, first of all, condition this up here. Do I want this or not? Do I want to leave my past behind and start a new one? Yes or no? If they say yes, then you're lucky. She will change herself, but you cannot change her. Hey, Dr. Ogoji, welcome.
I'm telling you, after so much enjoyment back home,
brother. I haven't seen you
and
in a
happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. Unmute yourself.
Oh, he's unmuted.
Oh, okay. I can't.
He's unmuted, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Did you happen to transition through? Did you transition through Texas?
No.
I see you're sporting a Cowboys hat there.
He's a cowboy. His sister lives in Houston, Texas. So
he loves his hats.
Yeah,
there are no Cowboys in Nigeria, I know.
That's what you think.
Cowboy.
Anyway, welcome back. Welcome back. So we're on. Before you say I do, or before I say I do.
No, before you say I do.
Before you say I do. So that's the topic today. Dr. Ogoji, if you are ready to speak, go right ahead, and we'll hear your take on.
Always ready.
I do.
Well. I do is a very, very serious commitment.
Good.
Before the new generation of the world, new generation, Americans and Africa together, when somebody says I do, they plan to spend the rest of their life together.
Mm-hmm.
But things have changed because I do now means I do until the going get rough. It shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. However, to be honest with you, in life, if you say I do, then you want to live with somebody, you should be mature enough to know that you can make yourself happy. And then number two, also be mature enough to be knowing that you have to put the other person's feelings into consideration in whatever you do. So two things: consider your partner And second one is that your happiness depends on you. So if you say I do, expect the other person to make you happy, you'll be disappointed.
Yes.
You may or will be disappointed. In every relationship, it depends on what you want out of it. You should be old enough to say, you know what, I know what I want, and then stick with that with some adjustment to accommodate your partner. On the other hand, when you see the other person, it doesn't matter how you think he or she is. You should never plan to change him or her. You have to accept, you have to be willing to accept him or her the way they are. And if there's something that you really cannot swallow, please move on.
Yes.
Because you cannot change a grown man. In fact, I cannot change my 10-year-old. He knows what he wants. I can yell, I can try to tell him left and right, but he still does what he wants. But they are malleable a little bit, but a grown man has his mind already made up. They can change if they choose to change. So when you get in there, two of you start struggling and trying to know one another, things will come up, you know. If there are things you can change, you change within yourself. Hopefully your partner too, things they can change, they change within himself. But you cannot say, I do. Oh, he's a womanizer, I'm going to stop him being a womanizer. Oh, he's a drunkard, I have to stop him drinking. Oh, he's mommy's boy, I have to call him from being his mommy boy. Oh, I mean, they are individuals and you are another individual trying to come together to spend your life together. All you have to do is, if there are certain things that you know your partner doesn't like, is this something you should change? If you can, yes. If you can't, then say, hi, honey, I'm sorry, I can't change this. How can we live with this? And vice versa. So in that way, you become a masterpiece of your own happiness. And that's why there's a popular saying that when you are born, you'll be loved. Every kid, every newborn is cute, except very few. All babies are cute, except very few. So when you are born,
they are all cute.
They're all cute.
There's a few ugly ones, I'm sorry.
They're all cute. No ugly baby. There's no ugly baby. They're all cute.
I said so. I said all except a few. I deliver babies all the time. So don't give me. On the other hand, so when you are born, you'll be loved by the whole world. Oh, so cute. Oh, so handsome, so innocent. They will carry you, they'll love you, they'll kiss you. When you die, come see praises. Oh, he was a wonderful man. Hey, he did this. So those two parts of your life, people will love you. In between, you're on your own. You must find a way to change the things you can change, accept the things that you cannot change, and accommodate your fellow partner, your husband or your wife, for their deficiency. Try and focus on their positive aspect and ignore their deficiency. And there is a solution to every problem that comes up, because if you cannot find a solution, you have to find a way to live with it. Otherwise, you will be miserable. Of course, when things get really bad, you can't take anymore, you can walk away. I mean, I'm one of those people. Marriage is for life, but if you feel that your life will be so miserable, you cannot get up in the morning and feel safe, you cannot go to bed and feel safe, you just can't take it, sometimes it's good to walk away. But that's not the ultimate goal. Ultimate goal is work things out, because there's no perfect person out there. And no matter what we do, from the statistics, if there are 10 divorced couples in the US, 5 of them becomes friends with benefits. You wonder, why did they get divorced? I'm not going to say up to 7 of them. So that is a fact. Why is it power struggle? Why not let power go away? Stop holding on to your partner. He belongs to me. He can't go out with friends. He can't go home and see his family. He can't do this. And she can't go out with her girlfriends. She can't. So let them be. You cannot change them. But say, honey, what you did today, I don't like it. I wish you can stop it. Can we make it better? You pray. That's my take on this.
Thank you, Dr.
That's why we are so happy. We are happy you are back, because, I mean, you are such a wise man. You know, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So Africa Online will say all babies are cute. Then we cannot argue with your observation because you are the one delivering them. You know, you cannot tell anybody that their baby is not cute. It's not going to work. You know, but and Dr. Goji, next week we're going to be talking about after you say I do. That would be something else. You know, I really want to, before I start playing the anthem in a few seconds here, like you said, if you can't take it anymore, please do not pull a gun. Don't take a gun. Or rather, you run for your life.
Don't take any weapon at all.
No weapon. You're right. Yeah. No weapon. Please. No, you don't even have a right to take anybody's life, even the children that you brought into this world. You don't. So anyway, let me share the anthem, and then we'll go to our announcements. Wait. I was trying to share. How is the volume?
Good.
Africans for Africa. 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 Africans have many bright ideas. If only you let us share. If you really want to know my history, please come, sit down, listen to my story. God gave us the wisdom. He guides our footsteps, makes us shine and transform. Hey, as one people, with so many cultures, yet indeed we are one. Stand up, Africans, let's say Africa. Let us all unite behind Africa Online Media Corporation. Stand up, Africans, let's say Africa. It's time to come together, promote awareness, progress, and solution. Hey, Africans for Africa. Africans for Africa. Africans for Africa. All Africans can rally for a common cause, to believe without judgment in what our brother does. To identify and resolve our challenges, to allow each other's ideas without regard to standards. As one people with so many cultures, yes indeed we are one. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. Let us solve all the problems plaguing our continent. Stand up, Africans, let's save Africa. Let us empower Africans in and out of Africa. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. Africa Online Media Corporation, that's a good way to start. Stand up, Africans, let's save Africa. They have all the resources we need to benefit our society. For everyone, if we believe prosperity for Africans, if we believe medical facilitation for Africans, if we believe stand up, Africa, yes, for Africa. Online Media Corporation, that's a good way to start. Stand up, Africans, let's save Africa. Africa is the cradle of civilization, the motherland. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. We were enslaved not because we were weak, but because of our hospitality. Stand up, Africans, let's save Africa. Jump on the Africa Online Miracle Jet. Don't be left behind. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. Together we shall succeed. Together we will win. Stand up, Africans. Let's save Africa. We are writing our own story, the truth, and we shall tell it to the world. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. No more lies. Africans own Africa.
No more lies. And I'm glad our ambassador, who loves this anthem so much, joined while he was playing. We have full rights to that song. Full rights. I wrote that 4 years ago, and DJ Skipper did an amazing job composing that. Shout out to DJ Skipper, my adopted son. You know, this series, I mean, every year we've done this series every single year. You know, this marriage series, and for the past 5 years, March will make us 5 years. Africa Online will turn 5 in March, you know, coming up March 20th. And for the past 3.5 years, 4 years, we've labeled it Before You Say I Do. But and every time we do this show, we have different advice, different things come on. So I'm quickly going to announce the next topic so we can hear from our ambassador and Dr. Ogoji, because the two of them just joined. But Dr. Ogoji has waited. So, Madam Ambassador, I can't wait to hear your take on this. But starting next...
Madam Chair, I was supposed to speak before you did, just for 1 second, please.
I thought you were going to go after me. My apologies. Go ahead.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
All right. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who were not on the at the beginning of the program, Ambassador Lisa, welcome. We also have Dr. Ogoji as well, who has joined us, and we do have a guest, John Mukadi, who's also listening to us. Welcome to everybody. Even though we're at the top of the hour, the reason I had to interrupt our chairperson is because I have an announcement to make. Those of you who did not hear me at the beginning of the show or the beginning of our event, we are starting a fundraiser. And this fundraiser calls for $1 a day from our viewers. We need money to operate. We need money for our program to continue going the way it is. And we do have projects such as Boho 55 that we started last year. We raised a little bit of money to just do one Boho. But our goal is to raise as much money as we can from our viewers and supporters such as yourself. Without you, our program is dead. So let's be assured that you're a very valuable asset to us as you listen and as you watch us every Sunday. So we need that $1 a day from you. Please go to www.africaonlinetv, like in television.org. www.africaonlinetv.org. We have quite a selection of payment handles that you can pay with or pay from so that you help us fundraise this money. $1 a day translates into $365 a year. That's if you want to do $1 a day. If you want to increase it to $10 a day, that's even better. But whatever you can give us, whatever you can put into AfricaOnlineTV.org, we will be very much grateful for, and that will encourage us and help us to keep our program going. Madam Chair, my apologies for the interruption.
No apologies. This show is unscripted, and that's what makes it real. And I love this show. What you see is what you get. It's unscripted and it's unedited. So, Madam President, thank you so much. And just to add one quick thing to that, we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization, so your donations are tax deductible. We have, a CFO, a certified public accountant, and a chartered public accountant. So she knows the British system and the US system, and she's also a tax expert. She's not yet in. I don't know, maybe she's doing some Valentine's Day ceremonies, but, so your money is safe. Madam President, thank you so much. Next week, we are going to be talking about after you say I do. That's when the real people show up. So I am going to hand over to our ambassador so she can unmute herself and weigh on this topic. This week we're talking about before you say I do. So Ambassador Lisa, I know you have some experience in this area, so the mic is yours.
Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning to everyone. Yes, I was a little late getting in. I had a lot of issues going on over on this side and Nigeria. Lots of phone calls I was handling, but I'm glad to be here. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone and to all of our viewers. Dr. Golgi, it's good to see you. Welcome back. Before you say I do some counseling in this area. And there are two key things that I like to share, especially with the young ladies. I do it with the young men too, but mostly mostly young ladies come to me. So there are two very key things that I ask. Is this person a season, a reason, or a lifetime person? When you're in that courting stage or you're just dating and you're trying to discover who are we and what are you, has this person come into your life for a reason? Have they come for a season, or are they there for a lifetime? And that's one of the very key things I think that must be discovered when people are coming into each other's lives. And the other thing that I ask, especially when I'm dealing with young women, is this man the man that you would want to be standing by you as you're lowering your mother in the grave? Is this man the kind of man that will be able to stand, support you, encourage you? You know, we as women, we're more emotional, especially when it comes to our parents. We're the sensitive creation of God. So is this the person that's going to be telling you, will you hurry up and get over this? Or is he going to be there comforting you, holding you, you know, as you're lowering your parents into the grave? Will he be that supportive kind of person? Those are very sensitive areas in our lives as we're growing through, and as we're growing through. I like to say growing through situations as opposed to going through things. We can go through a lot of things, but never gain any wisdom or value from it. But as we're growing through different situations in our lives, these are the kind of things that we need to ask. Not, do we get along good? Do we look good? Do we, you know, is he buying me things? Am I buying him things? Those material things. And I'm afraid a lot of our young people are looking at the material aspects of a relationship. I was looking at, I like Mark Angel. He's out of Nigeria, and Emanuela. I was looking at one of his comedy routines yesterday, and Mark Angel's girlfriend was already driving a nice Camry, but she wanted him to buy her a big Benz. All she kept saying is, I want a big Benz, because her other friends had big Benz. So I was just thinking about that in terms of what we were going to be doing. Are those the things that we're requiring of our mates? We want to make sure that they can support us, but are we being ridiculous in our expectations of a man and a woman who comes in our life? You know, it's not only what a man brings to the table, but what do you as a young woman bring to the table? You need to know what everybody is bringing to the table, because when you bring your part and I bring my part, then we have a whole. But if you're only expecting me to bring my part and you don't bring anything to the table, that's not a good match.
Absolutely. Excellent, excellent, Ambassador. Let me just chime in on that one. It is very true what you have said about, especially the girls, the young ladies. Anytime they're looking for a lifetime partner, they have a litany, a whole list of what I want him to have. Should have a big house, should have a big car, should be wearing Gucci, Fendi, smelling like only God knows what. But my question to the ladies is, what do you have to bring to the table? You don't even have a degree yourself, but you're asking for a PhD.
Exactly.
Would you be able to communicate with that PhD at his level, the way you are? You straight grade 12 or whatever, maybe 1 or 2 years of college. Let me not demean it that well. But before you start asking your friend to be what he is not, or asking of him what you yourself have not achieved, stop, think, and listen. Supposing that the men who are looking for wives are also asking for that thing that is above you, will you ever find a husband?
Mm-hmm.
Or will you ever find a wife? No, you won't. A woman, if she is making all these demands, make sure you're not a liability for that man. You better be an asset. You better be having something behind you. I'm not talking about kids, but I'm talking about, life-wise. What are you bringing to the table yourself? If you're asking for the man to buy, like you rightly said, buying you that big Mercedes Benz and that big house and all that gold and whatever, bling, 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 bling. What are you yourself bringing to the table? A man too wants to be proud of his wife.
Yes, he
A
does.
man too wants to be proud of his partner. He wants to say, oh, that's my beloved wife, Sylvia. And when they mention my name, Sylvia, they better be something that I'm coming with and not just my pretty face and the red lipstick and things like that. Dr. Ogoji, I see you smiling. Dr. Ogoji, you want to chime in?
I'm here. Well, I like the discourse, okay? I'm enjoying it.
I was enjoying it too.
Yeah. So 20 years ago, my dad will provide all the money, the housing, the school fees, and all the financial support. My mom would do the cooking, make sure we are taken care of, take us to school, bring us back home. This is full-time work.
Absolutely.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
So in 2021, I say 95% of men, I won't say 100, don't want a liability.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
They want a working class wife. That comes with some responsibility too. If your wife goes to work every day and come back home, you don't expect her to put food on the table every day.
Mm-hmm.
And
Put
clean.
up some of the household work for her. But that notwithstanding, life has become so complicated that people are looking at what other people are doing, especially social media, which is causing a lot of trouble in people's life. So I describe social media or what people tell you outside their marriages, what they're going through, as good as gambling. I have a friend who gambles all the time. Every time she wins $10,000, she'll say, I won. But before she wins $10,000, she has lost $100,000.
Yes, yes.
That is true. A gambler will never tell you when he or she loses money.
Yeah.
But you tell you when he wins, the whole world will know that he won. So based on that, I would say in 2021, before you say I do, the woman should equally be willing to bring something to the table.
Yeah.
The man should be willing to jump in and help with some of the things that need to be done, and vice versa. Of course, as they grow bigger and bigger, and when they become stabilized, somebody can downgrade. I've seen a couple, both bankers, start a life very well. They have 3 children growing up. As the kids start going to school, the woman have to quit her job and stay home to take care of the kids for 5 years, 10 years. After that, once the kids go to college, she go back to her career. So every human being must have respect for themselves and have what they call self-esteem. If you walk into a relationship and you know I'm bringing X, Y, and Z, you can speak of that. This is our home. We'll build it together. Then your home, you just walk in and then want everything done for you. On the other hand, people should stop saying he's driving Benz, he's driving this, I want that. So those causes problem. So just to support what you're saying, whenever you go into a relationship, the question is, I want a man with X, Y, and Z, or I want a woman with X, Y, and Z. I am bringing X, Y, and Z. That's one. And then number 2, I like your counseling. Is she here for a reason, for a season, or a lifetime partner? Yeah. And yeah, if you feel he's there for a reason, run. If he's there for a season, run.
Wrong.
You can survive with, come on, then be there. But bottom line is that a relationship, you ultimately decide the future of what you want to get out of it. You can argue about this bottle of water and argue and kill yourself, but somebody can say, this is water, go. And whatever you can let go, you let go. I mean, this part of the war is usually money. and
Mama
money,
is right.
and then a family. You know, people say it's very common to say, "Oh, my mother-in-law is not coming, my father-in-law is not coming, X, Y, and Z," and the other is money. You don't do this, I kick you out and take your money. So if you have the money, my friend once said, whatever money can solve, and you have the money, it's not a problem. You have the money, let him take it and live your life. Then other things that causes trouble before you say I do, if you foresee those things, please don't go in. If you go in, don't run away.
That's true.
Find a way to deal with it in a very reasonable way without making yourself unhappy. Number one goal, are you happy? Make sure you're happy. I repeat myself, in my life, me number one, me number two, me number three, me number four, me number five.
Me, myself, and I.
That's
Me,
a
That's
myself,
right.
and I.
When I say that, I like to support that, saying that if I'm not happy, I can't take care of my wife.
That's true.
I'm happy about my children. You cannot give what you don't have.
Yes.
That's right. That's right.
Me. Then I can share that me to the rest of the family.
Okay, I need to weigh in. Dr. Ogoji brought a couple of points I really want to, piggyback on.
Yes.
Dr. Ogoji, you're so right. But a couple of things. The man is supposed to be the primary breadwinner. I'm basing my thoughts and my ideas are based on my core beliefs, in the Word of God. So that's everybody has what informs their own decisions. So that's what I'm coming from, But I'm just saying, there's nothing wrong with the wife working and bringing in revenue too, but the man is the primary breadwinner. However, if the man loses his job for some reason or is not able to find work, you're the woman. That doesn't make you the head of the house.
That's right.
That's right. And the man should not become a couch potato, a gigolo. They should help around the house because domestic chores are even more difficult sometimes than the corporate jobs. And the other thing when he talked about, that's covetousness. People always trying to have what somebody else have. There are couples that have bought a bigger house in a particular neighborhood because they want to compete with some other couple, and then they find themselves working 2 jobs or extra jobs, and they can't even live in the house that they are trying to pay. The house is there, but they cannot live in it because they have to work all this extra job to be able to afford it. But then you can't even benefit from the house. You're not even staying there. So ask yourself before you say I do, is this the kind of person who is covetous? Or do they want to drive a particular car because this person in their community is driving, or they want to please people? There are people with very low self-esteem and they feel like they have to be validated by other people. Please don't go in there with that kind of person because he's not going to change. The other thing I want to say, I think Dr. Ogoji brought up family. It's good to know the family that you are going into. You need to know the history. It doesn't mean that everybody in that family is the same, but you don't want to go into a family where every day it will be trouble with your in-laws, mother-in-laws, father-in-law, sister-in-law, or outlaws, or bylaws, or whatever laws you want to call them. You need to think about that. And what kind of home did they grow up in? Did they grow up in a loving home? Look at those things before you say I do. Are you willing? It doesn't matter how wealthy the family is. Are you going to be happy going into that family? Think about those things before you say I do. The other thing, you need to, before you say I do, check medical history. Not just for what we are celebrating Black History Month. One of the diseases that, and Dr. Ogoji can correct me, that is very rampant among our people is sickle cell anemia.
Yes.
Find out if your partner is a carrier. Find out their medical history. You don't want to bring a sickler into this world. That is punishment. Don't bring a child into this world because you did not check blood types or medical history. Another thing, find out if this person is an HIV carrier or has been exposed to coronavirus since we're in this pandemic. Find out before you say I do. Don't go and get yourself involved with somebody that has a disease. It doesn't matter whether, I don't want to name some diseases here because it's Valentine's Day, so let me be nice. The other thing is, does this person love themselves? If they don't love themselves, they cannot love you. Do they even know what love is? That Dr. Ogoji said, you cannot give what you don't have. And there are some people that don't even feel like they deserve to be loved. When you show them love, they think there's some hidden agenda. Don't waste your time with those kind of people. I'm not saying that some people are they're not lovable, but the Bible says we should not cast precious pearls upon swine. You are there trying to show them love, and they just don't. They don't even think they deserve it. And then one last thing, I know we're running out of time. Just permit me to mention Proverbs 25:19. It says, confidence in an unfaithful man. I would say man here refers to man or woman. It's like a tooth out of a socket or a foot out of joint. I just had some major dental work, and believe me, it's no fun. It is painful. So don't have confidence in a man that is not faithful. If the man has been fooling around before he met you and he has not stopped, he will continue after you guys get married. And next week, I'm going to go into details in this. And let me tell you, before you say I do, find out how many people are at that altar.
That's right.
Because there's something called soul ties.
That's right.
There's some men that have the ties go from here to Africa. They have not broken them. So you are married, or you are in a room with somebody, and there are about 100 women in that same bed with you. Yes. Same thing for the wife. There are some women that have soul ties from here to Timbuktu. So look at all those things, because you don't want to be in a marriage with a whole tribe in that marriage. And I'm talking about invisible tribes. Yeah, so you can take the runway at 5 minutes.
Well, thank you all very much, Ambassador Lisa. Thank you for coming in as usual, and thank you for that very insightful contribution you made. I appreciate it. Dr. Ogoji, of course, always, even coming freshly back from traveling, I know he came back with every bit of energy in him. We're happy that you are back. Thank you so much. And talking about before you say I do, please think about it. Prepare yourself for it. Don't get into it because you want to rush, because you are turning 28, 29, or because you are turning 35, or is it 46? What is that age for women where they become desperate? Please don't wait until you get into desperation before you start looking for that person to whom to say, I do. Just be yourself, take your time, but don't waste too much time studying A, B to Z. Please, that said, let us take a round of the table. Dr. Ogoji, we're going to start with you. I think you're virtually the last letter of the alphabet as far as we're concerned right here. So you come all the way down there. So Dr. Ogoji, what's your final take on before you say I do?
Well, my final take on this is love yourself, be mature enough, look into family history of your partner, social history of your partner, and be willing to say, if you're a guy, willing to say, I am sorry, even when you're right, because that will save you a long, long way. And finally, when the going is too rough, you can't take it anymore, walk away. Never be violent. Walk away. It's better to walk out of the relationship happy and deal with whatever social impression and stay alive instead of staying there and be killed or taking the law into your hand and killing a fellow human being. Thank you.
That's right.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Lisa. Not because not because I went from you to A, but just go ahead, Ambassador.
My last word. Proverbs 31:10 says, "He who finds a wife finds a good thing."
Yes.
He who finds a girlfriend and marries her makes her a wife. She's already wife material before she says I do. And I believe the same thing with a man. He's already husband material before he gets married. He already knows how to be a provider. He already knows. See, a man is a man is created to be the pursuer, and we as the women are the pursuees. But the roles have been reversed, and I pray for the day that we get back in order so we can do things according to the kingdom agenda.
Thank you so very much, Sylvia. I know you are co-host, but it's time to
let me speak last. Let me speak last. Let me speak last. Let the chairperson go first, please.
Okay.
Are we safe?
Oh, we're very safe. Absolutely safe.
Okay. After I speak, Ambassador Lisa will speak, and then you go, Sister Sylvia. You know, one quick thing. Hold on a second. Sorry, please. Give me 1 second. I need to send some message here. Okay. All right. It's 22. Okay. There was one thing we missed, you know, and that is don't say I do because you are pregnant. Also, you don't want to bring a child into this world. I don't think anybody mentioned that. You don't want to bring a child into this world, under the wrong circumstances or in an unhappy relationship. There are people that have gotten married because they got pregnant and it was hellish. It has worked for some people. So please be careful. Don't do it. First of all, protect yourself from that happening. If it does, that is not a good reason. The ideal situation would be to say I do, but don't do it just because of that. Ambassador Lisa, can you unmute yourself? I don't know if you saw the text, but there was a typo there. No, you are muted.
Unmute yourself.
Yes, I did. I had a couple notes down, so yes, I did get my little notes confused.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Go right ahead.
No, she wants to correct something. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, it was Proverbs 18:22 that says, "Finds a wife finds a good thing," but Proverbs 31:10 is
virtuous woman.
Virtuous, being a
virtuous woman. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So, was that your last word, Reverend Pam?
Yes, because of time. So
yes, okay. Okay, Sylvia has the last word to
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, viewers, as always, for coming in every Sunday and joining us on these beautiful topics that we bring up every week. For those of you who missed the session, please go to our Facebook and look us up, listen to it. You may learn something. If you're looking for a mate, you're looking for a wife, you're looking for a husband, please ask questions before you get into that and observe. Stop, look, and listen. Is that what I want for a partner? Is that whom I want to spend the rest of my life with? With that being said, again, at the beginning of the show and the middle of the show, I also mentioned about our fundraiser. We at Africa Online are looking to do great works on the continent. We started off with borehole 55 last year, and we did raise some money, and we started working on one borehole in West Africa. So for those of you who have a passion for making a contribution or a donation towards a good cause. By the way, we have a 501c3. You will get your tax papers at the end of the year if you request them, or whether you request them or not, they're there anyway for your taking. So for those of you who would like to make a contribution or a donation, by the way, this is a donation. It's not an investment. It is a donate, D-O-N-A-T-E, not investment. Please go to our website at www.africaonlinetv, as in television.org, www.africaonlinetv.org. We have quite a number of payment handles that you can use for your convenience. If and when you find there is none, please let us know. Join us next Sunday. Send a message to us on our website as well, and let us know that the payment handle that you require is not there. Let's see what we can do for you. With that being said, my name is Sylvia Robinson. It's always a pleasure.
Merci, Madame le Président, Madame la Présidente. OK, merci beaucoup. Joignez-vous à nous, faites votre contribution, s'il vous plaît. Nous vous prions de nous donner, même si c'est $1 par mois ou par jour ou par semaine, pour nous aider à réaliser certains projets qui nous sont chers dans notre continent, l'Afrique. Thank you very much, everybody. As Aristotle once said, love is composed of a single soul inhabiting two bodies. So when you say I do, know that you are going into another body, and those two bodies have to live in one, have to live as one, and forever and ever till death do you part. That said, this has been a great program. Thank you all for being there this afternoon, this evening, and please let us get back again next week. So long.
Happy Valentine's
Happy
Day.
Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. Only the ambassador and Reverend Pam came dressed in their party dress.
I messed up.
No, you did not. There's no dress code. You did not. You're just fine.
Okay, Reverend Dr. Ogoji, thank you very much for coming back.
Welcome back. Welcome back, Dr. Ogoji.